All right, welcome in. This is Ricky's Mailbox. We're going to do this all throughout the Phillies season. We take your questions and we answer your questions on air. We send them out. They go out on YouTube. You could subscribe. You could post your questions here online. And you could also catch me, Tyrone Johnson, and Silvana Kelleher on the best show ever on 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and on NBC Sports Philadelphia. I'm here with Dylan McKinnon. Let's go, Dill.
This is from Thos, Thos. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Do you believe roles are important in the bullpen? If so, is it Dave Dombrowski's fault for not bringing in a legit closer to set roles? Or is it flawed team thinking that closer by committee will work?
Let me start by saying that roles were very important. You obviously want to know where in the game you may pitch. And it doesn't have to be, this is why I say roles, because roles are different now. It used to be you have two setup guys, you have some long guys, you have a couple middle relievers, and then you know who's doing what. That was simplistic, because if you're a setup guy, you know you're either in the sixth inning with people on base, the seventh or the eighth, and we were multiple inning pitchers back then, so we would go up until a following inning. Now you look at it that way, then the closer would just be ready for the ninth or runners on in the eighth inning. Now it's a little different in a sense that you're either a short reliever or you're a long reliever, and that's the bottom line. They don't overuse these guys. They usually don't pitch them more than 2 days in a row. So, I think a lot to depend on what the health of that reliever is, how that reliever's feeling that day, what the matchups are is the biggest thing. That's what the game has really come down to. It's come down to matchups. So if you're a left-handed hitter and or a left-handed pitcher, a lot of left-handed hitters are coming up that following inning and you're a short reliever, you better be ready, because that's the way the Phillies do it. That's the way they're going to do it. And so roles are not necessarily defined anymore. Do the pitchers love it? As long as they know they're short relief, I think they're in good shape.
This is from T-Rab. Can you get Stott to change his annoying walk-up song? It's run its course.
Okay. No, I can't get him to stop that. I mean, it's very odd, and I know a lot of people either love it or hate it. But I mean, in the whole reality of everything, if he likes it and he understands when he walks up that it kind of gets him pumped up or his adrenaline starts flowing a little bit at that given time, that's his prerogative. A lot of people always ask that. Why do they have certain songs? Why not change the song every single year? Some of these guys are just stuck on it and they think it's good luck. It's kind of one of those things where if they don't have it, how do they feel at the plate? It's a security blanket. And sometimes you can't get guys to change. Other guys change year to year. I know that. As a matter of fact, like when I was in the big leagues, I wouldn't have the same song every year when I came in from the bullpen. I would kind of change things up. But superstition is one thing, and baseball players are extremely superstitious. So I don't think they necessarily just change things for no reason.
This one is from Shisu. Again, I apologize if I mispronounce your name. Do you think Andrew Painter and Aiden Miller have a chance to be elevated to the main team during this season?
Aiden Miller is a long shot. Maybe a September call-up at best for him. I think that's just one thing that they don't need to rush. When you look around the infield, you have Alec Bohm, you have Bryson Stott, you have Trey Turner. They're all more or less, I say more or less, everyday players. But when you look at the whole situation, Aiden Miller will probably be up next year for sure, and he'll probably be a starter. I don't think you want to really bring Aiden Miller up unless he comes up in September and is kind of trying to get his feet wet. I can understand that. Andrew Painter, on the other hand, he's starting his rehab, as quote unquote rehab assignment down in Clearwater either today or tomorrow. I think he gets a start. So we're talking about he's getting ready to ramp up, and I'm assuming late June, early July call up for Andrew Painter. There's no definitive answer, because the other thing is you have to look at what's going on. What if all your starting pitchers are throwing the ball well and there's just no spot for them? The other thing is you still have you had Taijuan Walker pitch a really nice first game. You never know which direction he's going to go in. and you got a guy in Ranger Suarez who is on the injured list, and you don't know when he's coming back. So there are questions, but I got to believe late June, early July, I would go with Painter. And for Aiden Miller, I'm thinking and by the way, this is barring no injuries. Because if there's injuries, obviously everything speeds up and everything changes. But Aiden Miller, I would think maybe a September call-up, but I think next year is his year.
Okay. This next one's from Hildred-Imagn. How much patience do you have with Jordan Romano? All of his appearances haven't been good. JT bailed him out Friday game 1 against the Dodgers, but no positive outings yet.
Yeah, he hasn't been very good. And it's funny because I don't look at dips in velocity as something that's very important to a lot of guys. To him, it sounds like it is. And reason why I say that is a guy that's throwing 92, 93 that normally throws, 96, 97, sometimes topping out at 98. When you're missing that much speed, you have to become a different type of pitcher. And with a guy who's more or less a two-pitch pitcher in the fastball and the slider, that doesn't leave you much room, with the exception of being able to spot the baseball exactly where you want it. Not sure he's exactly a spot pitcher right now. As you watch him, he's throwing a lot of pitches above the strike zone, which is great with 2 strikes. But, I mean, you got to be able to get ahead, stay ahead, and finish. Right now he's not getting ahead. He's not staying ahead. And he certainly hasn't been able to finish hitters off. So I don't feel great for him right now. I know it's early in the season, and you look for that big jump in velocity. If you don't get it, I'd be extremely concerned. But if somehow, some way, that velocity kind of kicks in gear and jumps up a little bit, then you'll see a different pitcher on the mound.
This one is from the Ginger with Soul.
Nice.
What are some consistencies you've noticed that are positive, and are there any consistencies you've noticed that are negative?
Consistencies I think consistencies from the starters have kept the Phillies in the game, the starting pitchers. I think that's the biggest consistency I could see on this team right now. When you think about it, the Phillies batters haven't really jumped on top of a lot of starting pitchers, so that's been a little bit of an issue for the Phillies. So when I think about this, what do you need? You need good starting pitching. In all honesty, Aaron Nola's been okay in his last start. His first start was horrible. But when I look at starting pitching as a whole, they've been very good. They've kept the other teams down, so they give the Phillies an opportunity to kind of step up and get something going offensively. As far as hitting, I guess this is going to sound odd. Edmundo Sosa. I mean, he's been very consistent in the early going. He's gotten himself a lot of playing time right now, and it seems as though he's just kind of in a little bit of a groove. A lot of hitters don't really get going until the weather starts going. And right now, as we see in Philadelphia, the weather has not been fabulous here. It's been chilly out. It's been rainy out. It's kind of miserable to go out there and try to hit baseballs. But I would say Edmundo Sosa has been the most consistent thing on this Phillies offense right now. He's doing a little bit of everything, and he's playing very good defense to go along with a pretty high batting average early in the season. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay. This last question is from Matt. How excited should we be by how Jesus Luzardo looked last Friday versus Dodgers?
Here's the thing about Jesus Luzardo. All these Philly fans think this guy was just a number 5 starter that the Phillies went up, picked up, and said, okay, hey, great, okay, we got an extra starter. No, this guy was basically an ace of the Marlins. I don't care what major league team you are, but if you're a number 1 on the major league team, you're a pretty good pitcher. I think the Phillies knew that. They saw that, brought him in here. He had a great offseason in the fact that he picked up his velocity 2 ticks. And he's got a really good slider and an unbelievable changeup to go along with 96, 97 miles an hour. He is a top-tier pitcher. And quite frankly, I know people said his first outing, oh, okay, let's see him pitch against the Dodgers, and then he dealt. That's who he is. this guy's a really good pitcher, and I think Philly fans should start to understand that the Phillies may very well have 3 aces on this pitching staff. So there you go. Well, there you have it for this week. That's Ricky's Mailbox. I want to thank Dylan. He's behind the camera. You can catch us, 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia on the best show ever, 2 to 6 every weekday. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching our YouTube. If you want to help us out, go ahead and like and subscribe for us. If you liked what you saw, go right over here to our playlists and pick out whatever you want to watch.